Hello. Welcome back to Let's Talk Ray Bradbury, the show here on Let's Talk Entertainment, where over the last several years I've been attempting to read and review each of the roughly 600 short stories written by the late, great Ray Bradbury. Recently, we've been working on a collection called We'll Always Have Paris from 2009, right before his death in 2012. We are up to story number 9 of 22 in that collection called Pater Caninus, or Caninus, Dogfather. The way that these reviews work is I do a brief synopsis of what happens in the story, sort of all the action, plot, and character, and then I wrap up with just a very brief analysis of what it all means, what I took away from it. Is a good story worth your time to read? And hopefully you find that useful in your life, or not. I mainly do it for my own entertainment. All right then, so two priests, a younger named Father Kelly and an older named Father Gilman, who is his boss, work in a hospital which is run by Father Gilman. Father Kelly comes into his office one day and asks him, do you remember the golden retriever with the red bandana that used to always walk around with Father Reardon doing his rounds? And he says, yes. Well, the last couple of days, he's been coming to the hospital and making his rounds without the father. And this is very peculiar. So they walk over to the hospital and they follow the dog around, and they are sort of surprised to find that the dog appears to be taking the confessions of the patients. The dog will come up really close to the patient. The patient will whisper in his ear and then sort of smile and then seem relieved and resolved or absolved of their sins, allegedly. Father Gilman gets really angry by this, and he shoos the dog away. He's yelling and screaming, and the dog runs out, and Father Kelly's afraid that the dog will never come back. Gilman's like, good riddance. But later, he goes to his office, and he's sitting there when the dog walks in, and he gives him his confession, and he confesses to a sin of pride. All right, so this was a neat little story, just about 4 pages long or so. I'm not Catholic. I've always found the number of rituals to be a little bit odd. Definitely not very reminiscent of the particular brand of Christianity that I was raised on. However, that does not make the story any less resonant for me. The story is really about the love of a good pet, I think, and the idea that most of us who have had pets in our life, we tend to talk to them. Also, it's very similar to somehow how young mothers will talk to infant or baby children who we know that the dog or the child can't answer, but you're talking to them as if they're a person, and you sort of bare your soul to them. You maybe say things that you wouldn't say to other people. So very much is a sense of confession with that, involving a pet like the golden retriever in this story. So I think it's about two things. It's about the worthiness of a good pet, man's best friend, and the relief that pet can provide to you. But it's also about religious tolerance, this idea that people find their comfort from many different avenues. And just because someone doesn't share the same particular religious belief as you, that may be working for them. It may be giving them sort of the courage and the sense of renewal to go on with their lives after they've done bad things that they regret. And so, yeah, it's a story about man's best friend, but also about the peace of mind of absolution, which we obtain in many different ways depending on our way of thinking, our religion, our philosophy. So in a very short amount of space here, Bradbury manages to bring up some pretty important issues, but I like this story. It's a very good one. I recommend it to you, so be sure to pick up a copy of We'll Always Have Paris, where this story first debuted in 2009. All right, then, we'll be back next time with a story called Arrival and Departure, which is story number 10 of 22 as we near the halfway point in this collection, and it will be our 249th review overall as we quickly close in on that magic number 250. So be sure to tune in again tomorrow or maybe the next day to find out what that is all about. Thank you. Please subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. And talk to your dog, okay? Talk to your dog, people. Bye-bye.